This guy is such a badass. On the bus, Mark showed off his muscles to the little boy, but he was too strong. He pulled the handrail right off. The boy cried in fear, and Mark tried to put the handrail back on. It was so awkward. That's how strong Mark is. With dumbbell weights 110 pounds, he can lift it with just one hand. A 5-ton SUV. He can pull the car over with one rope. Mark was a gangster. He felt too boring. So, he became an arm wrestler, and he is the best in Korea. And now Beard Guy ranks number 10, is going to challenge Mark. Beard grabbed Guy took Mark's hand, and he went all in with full strength. But Mark, as steady as a mountain, remained perfectly still. Beard Guy won't take no for an answer. He keeps pushing and pushing, but Mark kept still. Then Mark starts building up his strength. At that moment, Beard Guy was in so much pain. Mark pushed a little bit harder. Mark totally crushed it and took the championship. Now let's talk about Mark, the legend of the arm wrestle. Mark is the winner in Korea's arm wrestling championship, and he crushed all the players in the game, but he was reported maliciously. People accused him of faking it. As a result, he was expelled from the game. So, Mark had to work as a security guard at the supermarket. One day he got a call from his best friend/assistant. An arm wrestling championship is being held in Korea. Mark decided to attend. The two went to meet their sponsor, President Wang. President Wang sees Mark being very strong. He immediately called people to test him. The first challenger is the cowboy, but under the pressure of Mark, he was quickly crushed. Then he was unable to fight back and was eliminated. Next up is the guy in camouflage. He calls himself the Korean badass. At first, he was on a par with Mark, but not for a few seconds. The camo guy is losing it. Mark smiled, slowly twist his wrist, gradually increase his strength, and finally, he ended the camo dude. President Wang and the patron are very satisfied with the performance of Mark, because they can make money off Mark. But for his assistant, Margot decided to keep quiet for now. Although Mark doesn't want to be used as a tool, but because his assistant asked him to, he decided to suck it up. Mark is going to an arm wrestling contest. Is he good enough to win the championship? Before the game, he's in the presidential suite for the first time. Assistant lets Mark enjoy the massage chair. Mark was like, stupid chair, but the next second, he felt asleep in it already. The next day is the big game. President Wang orders the assistant, let Mark win the first game, but lose game 2 on purpose, so he can make more money this time. The race starts. The opponent is a big guy. Mark didn't really try hard. He wants the big guy to go all in, to find out what is he capable of. So, no matter what the big guy does, he won't make Mark move an inch. Mark starts to push. The big guy couldn't stand it. Mark gradually increased his strength, and won the game easily. Then Lily appeared. President Wang walked over, and to hit on Lily in front of everyone. Lily is Mark's younger sister. Mark was angry. So, when the second game begins, Mark just went all in. The big guy didn't even get to fight back, and game is over already. The assistant was like, what the heck? Mark deliberately wanted President Wang to lose money. President Wang lectured Mark, are you crazy? Don't you know who your boss is? Mark pushed away President Wang, started at Lily and left. These guys beat up Mark's assistant. That's when Mark came. He jumped in, took down the main thug, then nailed him with a wristlock collarbone grab, leaving the guy nowhere to run. And then he went even more aggressive. Double play achieved. This punk had the nerve to fight back. Mark just sealed his throat with the huge hand. Out of nowhere, someone ambushed Mark. Mark let the thug off the hook, and turned to the young guy. The young man was almost paralyzed with fear. Seoul's best kung fu master Glasses Guy appeared. Glasses Guy punches Mark in the face. This is so shady. Mark was a little angry. Glasses Guy put away his glasses, got in position, and just to start punch in the air, Mark did an arm lock, and pinned Glasses Guy on the wall. If the police hadn't arrived in time, all of them have to be body bags. Finally, Mark and the assistant were taken by the police. President Wang bribed the cops and was acquitted. Mark explained, I'm an arm wrestling player. The police don't believe it. There is no arm wrestler. You're lying. He even wants to get Mark deported. Mark didn't know what to do, so he had to arm wrestle with the cop. Mark is arm wrestling with a cop. He is a police officer after all, so Mark can't just do whatever he wants. He has to stay still. The policeman uses both hands, and Mark just won't budge. Mark then pulled gently, and the cop was knocked down. Then he believed Mark. Then Lily showed with her kid. She took out a picture of mother and son, and explained, this uncle is my brother. My mom can't afford to raise him. That's why she gave him up. He got in a fight with some thugs, because I was bullied by them. That's why my brother did it. Mark is confused, and neither the assistant thought of this. He can't believe Mark has a sister. When the police learned the truth, he released Mark and his assistant. No more presidential suite for them. So, Mark moved into Lily's house. Since then, he has a family. The nephew needs to go to the bathroom, but the door is stuck. Mark started to fix it, and took the door right off. He is strong as a bull. At the gate, there were some high school thugs bothering Lily. Mark had his hands in his pockets as he walked toward them. When the boys saw Mark approaching, they grabbed the bags and ran away. Mark also brought his nephew to freeload at birthday parties. He was invited on stage to give his blessing. Mark was so embarrassed that he had to lie and say he was the girl's distant uncle. One night the assistant found Mark, and he said there would be an arm wrestling competition in Busan. You can go play, he said. So, they all go to Busan. Everyone knows Busan is famous for the zombie movies. So, what? Is this like an arm wrestle game with zombies? The competition is held at the beach. Mark battles South Korea's first arm wrestler Sam. Mark clenched the palm of Sam's. They started squeezing at the same time. For more than 3 seconds, Sam bent over and twisted the wrist. He got a hold of Mark. Mark tensed his biceps, adding more strength to the game. The tables turned. Sam accumulated his strength and struck, taking back the initiative, and then he kept pushing. Mark was about to lose. At this critical moment, Mark started the 3-stage impact, pushing harder to offset Sam's attack. Then he fell on his side, and all the strength went to his arm. His biceps and forearm flexors pushed at the same time, and Sam was taken. The audience applauded. Mark's family was proud, too. Mark and Sam also became friends. This guy's a real tough guy. Mark is on the bus, showing off his muscles to a little boy. Then he exerted too much force and pulled the handrail down. The boy started crying in fear. Mark pretended to push the handrail back up, but it was already broken anyway. Man, talk about embarrassing. Mark's going to enter the arm wrestling contest. He lifts 110 pounds of dumbbells every day to work out. He tethers a 5-ton SUV, pull the car away with ropes, to practice arm strength. This is a piece of cake to Mark. The assistant carefully recorded the wrestling skills of all the contestants. On match day, the assistant handed the notebook to Mark. The two made up. Sam also came to say hello. Then President Wang showed up. He's got a player named Tiger. Tiger is 6'3" inch, weighs over 200 pounds. Every time he does arm wrestling, he uses steroids, and he is always trying to break the opponent's wrist. So, he is always in jail for this. The assistant told Mark to be careful. $100 million prize for the arm wrestling fight. The top 2 will advance to the World Series. The media interviews Mark. Anything you want to say to your family? Mark said, I have no family. The preliminaries have begun. Mark is up against Green Shirt. Green Shirt grabbed the post, falls sideways, forces down, but still lost to Mark. Mark made it to the semifinals. The sponsor puts all the bets on Tiger. If Mark wins, the money's gone down the drain. So, he ordered President Wang, find a way to take care of Mark. President Wang finds the assistant, offered $100 million to the assistant, as long as Mark loses to Tiger. Another $100 million for the assistant. The assistant went to look for Mark immediately, informed him, $200 million. It's worth more than the championship. Mark said no. The reason for me to keep fighting is to prove that I'm not down. This is my last chance. The assistant didn't stop him. Next up is the semi-final. Mark goes against Sam. Then Mark's nephew came to the game. Mark is a little surprised. The race started. They were both too strong, and they both just lost grip. Mark's wrist hurts a little. The referee made him wrap his wrist and go again. Sam is being mean. He lost grip on purpose, resulting in a broken wrist for Mark, but Mark is powerful. So, Sam uses skills to balance with Mark. They were neck and neck, and the wristband broke. This is the first time in the history of the tournament. The referee puts on the hand strap again. Sam wants to overwhelm Mark at once, but it was just a little short of strength. Mark gives a boost, got back to the center line, then he keeps pushing. Finally, he took down Sam, advanced to the final. The whole crowd went crazy. The assistant couldn't believe it. He took the money back to President Wang and begged him not to interfere with the Mark's game. Just then Mark arrived. The patron just ran away. Mark throws a punch, knocks out President Wang, then pull up the assistant, and keep the game going. The final game begins. It's Mark up against Tiger. Now Lily is running towards the scene. Tiger made a really nasty move. He tricked Mark. He got his arm slipped on purpose, and to strangle Mark's finger. Mark almost dislocated his finger. It's a good thing that Mark trains hard, and his fingers are okay. This is Mark participating in the arm wrestling finals. The referee had them both put on overhand straps. The race starts. Mark's hand is acting up again. He was almost crushed by Tiger. Mark had to hang in there. Tiger strikes. Couldn't break Mark. He's got no more strength to add on. Mark jumped at the chance. He turned back his wrist and strikes Tiger back. The table has turned. Tiger attacks brutally again. Mark was held down by the strong impact. His arm was cornered. Muscle groups simply don't work. Mark was sweating all over his head. He can just hang in there. Mark looked into the audience. His family is there cheering for him. Mark thinks of all the happy moments, and he burst. Now it's Mark's brute force time. It feels like he never runs out of strength. Mark gradually leveled Tiger. Mark yelled, and he won. There, Mark has won the Korean Arm Wrestling Championship. The patron was furious, since he has lost billions. This is bad news for President Wang. Mark's family ran onto the stage. They were all there with Mark. Mark holds up his trophy. He can finally get back to the World Series, and he was no longer alone. Behind him, there is a family who love him dearly. The end. This film is called Champion. I recommend you guys to see the original film. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you next time. Bye.